What up, Laker family? It's your boy DTLF back with another video. And yes, the Lakers have officially signed Dennis Schroder to a 1-year veterans minimum deal. This coming in the heels of him dropping a 30-plus game for a FIBA play. I mean, he's been killing it. I'll give him credit where credit is due. And I asked Trevor Lane the other day, he was here, about this question, if he's garnering interest around the league with his recent play, if it was possible that the Lakers could pick up Schroder. We both agreed that it wasn't very likely unless there was a subsequent move. So now, this is my reaction to Dennis Schroder being added to the already guard-heavy lineup. I'm confused unless a move is to come. That's the only way. Now, it makes sense that you're getting obviously a bargain player. He's still very valuable off the bench if he buys into his role. So I do like that. But as the roster is currently constructed, all right, these are the guards that are currently on the team right now. You got Russell Westbrook, you got Patrick Beverley, Max Christie, Lonnie Walker, Kendrick Nunn. Let's see who else. Austin Reeves is a guard as well. Austin Reeves, that's 6 guards currently on the roster. Not to mention Troy Brown, if you consider him a guard. So technically we got 7 guards. That's way too many. And now you're adding Dennis Schroder to that? That's 8 guards, guys. What is going on? And that's 4 point guards, to be exact. Again, I'm confused unless a Russell Westbrook trade is on the horizon. Now, remember, we did hear about him putting his house up for sale earlier, this week. So could it be? Could it be that finally, could it be the tale of the time that finally Russell Westbrook is about to get traded? I don't know. Listen, individually, Dennis Schroder is a good talent. I wasn't a fan of him when he was here the first time with the Lakers because he wanted to be a starter. He dropped a couple of bagels in the playoffs that I was not very happy about, and I ragged him when he left the Lakers, thinking he can get a better contract situation elsewhere. But the Lakers are a team of second opportunities. We've seen it over and over and over again. We did it with Dwight. We've done it with other players that have left and eventually came back. And now, there's Dennis Schroder. Now, where does he fit on the current roster? Again, I have no idea. We just added Patrick Beverley. Obviously, Russell Westbrook is currently on the roster, so most likely he's going to start. We got, like I said, Lonnie Walker there, Kendrick Nunn battling for minutes, Austin Reeves. The list goes on and on of how stacked we are at the guard position. So this makes absolutely no sense unless Russell Westbrook is about to get traded. And if he does get traded, then I like this move. If Russell Westbrook does get traded, then I like this move because you can start Patrick Beverley or Dennis Schroder, most likely Patrick Beverley because of his defense. And then you can bring Dennis off the bench along Kendrick Nunn or somebody like that. Then now that move looks a lot better. Listen, I was very upset, like I already told you guys, with Dennis because of his performance in the playoffs and because he felt entitled. But sometimes experience can humble you. He became a journeyman all of a sudden. He went from Boston. He took a huge pay cut. Nobody wanted to sign him. He thought he was going to get a big paycheck. He bet on himself, and he lost a lot of money because of it. He could have had $84 million 4-year contract deal with the Lakers. That might have humbled him. Now, hopefully, he's willing to accept any role. Not to mention, Darvin Ham has coached this guy before. But I just find it funny, man. If this is the final roster, I'm going to be really confused because now you got 3 guys who have had ego problems before, 3 guys that think they're starting material, and 3 guys that have had issues with each other. Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, and Dennis Schroder. All right, that is a recipe for disaster if that is who you keep on board together. It makes no sense. Like I said with Trevor Lane on the other day on this live stream, it would make no sense unless Westbrook gets traded. What do you guys think of this acquisition, though? Dennis Schroder has been balling out in the FIBA World Championships. I mean, recently they beat Greece, I think, in the semifinals where he dropped 26 points. And I think today, I'm not sure if it was today or yesterday, I haven't been paying attention to overseas basketball, but he dropped the 30-plus point game. So it was a given that somebody was going to pick him up, but it ends up being our Lakers. He said Patrick Beverley starts over Dennis Schroder. I agree with that. There's so many big-headed guards, man. I don't know what they're doing. I agree, Albert. This is really confusing if this is what they plan on bringing onto the season. However, I still holding out hope that Russ will get traded before training camp starts. Due to this move, I think it gives me a little bit more hope. I really do. Is it, Dan, can we send Russ home? Technically, they can. Frank says, why? I don't know why either, man, unless, like I said, there's a subsequent trade to this one. There needs to be, man. He said, I hate it. Jeannie is clueless like Rob. Jeannie's not making these moves, Jonah. I think you're a little clueless on that front because Jeannie has stated many times before, she is basically empowering these general managers to make these moves, the front office. She stays out of it, of course, for any big deal. They need her approval, but this is not a big deal. It's a minor deal that could end up impacting the Lakers in a positive manner. I'm not saying this is a negative deal. Listen, you get Dennis Schroder at 2 point whatever million. It is a deal. It's definitely a bargain, right? You're getting a 6-man of the year candidate a couple years ago. You're getting somebody who basically knows how to play under Darvin Ham. He's done it. He did it for Atlanta. I do believe Darvin Ham was an assistant then. So there is that, right? And not to mention that he's also a very good player. He's still in his prime. What is he, 30? He's still relatively young. So, it's one of those things where I'm not excited till I see the final product. But I'm also not disappointed because we did get a talented player who is going to come here with different expectations. He's no longer expecting to be the starter. Hopefully he buys in. He said, a trade is coming. I think Kendrick Nunn is gone. Kendrick Nunn is not the name you think of when you think of a trade, but that's interesting. He said, way too many guards, especially if we get Conley in the trade. That is true as well, man. Now, but I think the main guy they've been targeting, according to rumors and reports, is Bojan Bogdanovic. So no Conley. No Conley at all. However, if they do get Conley, I would be shocked still. Because like you said, man, it's good to have competition for positions, but you don't want to have you don't want that position to be over stagnant because that's how you have issues and chemistry issues as well. You don't want too much of that. Dan, I predict Clarkson and Bojan and Beasley getting traded to the Lakers. Now, mind you, that wouldn't make sense because we'd have to give up more than one player. And you have to make the salaries match, Max. So technically, look, we still have one open roster spot. We currently have 14 under contract with the addition of Dennis Schroder, unless they cut your boy Wenyen Gabriel. Okay, so that is an option as well. He has a non-guaranteed contract. The Jazz have to offload plenty of players. So yeah, they can't offload all those to us. He said, Dan, you forgot Dennis plays video games. Do you think it's a good move? I have not forgot Dennis plays video games. But remember, he was starting the last time he was here, and I was very upset at the fact that he was more focused on his video games. I was not happy about that. However, this move now gives me hope that Russell Westbrook will be off the team. If we bring both Russell and Dennis here, that's two bad attitudes potentially. Even though I think Dennis will buy in because Darvin Ham, ex-assistant coach, and I think he's a bigger influence in the locker room than Frank was. But I do not want Dennis starting. Off the bench, he could be solid. All right, he's a good bench player. He proved it already throughout his career. I didn't like him as a starter. Obviously, the 0 points, him focusing more on playing video games instead of watching his team, all that rubbed me the wrong way. Not to mention, he has a disgustingly disfigured, ugly Boston Celtics tattoo on one of his arms. I don't know which one. But yeah, all that is negatives. The positives are off the bench, he could be solid, and you got him on a bargain price. And if it doesn't work out, you could trade his contract, a very tradable contract at the trade deadline. So that is the good news. There's pros and cons to this acquisition. The biggest pro, though, to me is that it's looking more and more likely by the day that Russell Westbrook could be out the door. That's the biggest, pro. Dennis plays defense at least when he wants to, because sometimes he's very lackadaisical on the defensive end as well, especially as a starter. He said, damn, hey, let's hope he gets humbled. He has to, man. He lost $84 million. If he doesn't come through with humility, then I will be very disappointed. And again, anybody who doesn't buy in to the team first brand, which is Lakers and championships, you're not Laker material. So he wasn't Laker material his first time around, but again, now he's coming at a much cheaper price and with less expectations. So let's see how that turns out. However, I'm still not happy with this roster. Too many guards, not enough wings. We need more size at the wing position. We need more shooting. So I do believe there will be another trade. There's no way in hell this can be the roster. Listen, this has the potential to be one of the biggest circuses if we go into it with this team. Because Dennis is volatile. We've seen it before. So is Russell Westbrook, and so could Patrick Beverley. He could rub people the wrong way. So this could be a huge negative impact on the team, having those three guys there on the same team. Or if Dennis buys in, Patrick Beverley ends up starting, and Russ gets traded, this could be a huge a major plus for us off the bench. So it's look, I'm not changing my take. I still don't like what Dennis did his first time around. I still call him a chump. I never wanted to see him as a Laker, but that's my luck. Recently, we've been getting a bunch of players that I never wanted to see as Lakers, starting with Patrick Beverly. But you know the rules, man. Once they're Lakers, all that out the door, all the trash talk, all the negativity, all that energy out the door. Let's see what he can do. 2.6 million is not bad for 1 year. Okay. Worst case scenario, you could trade him at the trade deadline. Worst case scenario. Best case scenario, he gives you some good value off the bench. He buys in because he's playing for an ex-coach, and it could be a really good thing. But again, to be determined, because we need to see what happens with Russ. We are guard stacked. All right, we are guard stacked. There's no way, I would be shocked, man. I will be extremely shocked if this is the ultimate. If this ends up being the grand finale to the roster, wow, I'm gonna be. Yeah, the return of Dennis Schroder is official. And I just read a prospect of Russell Westbrook coming off the bench is being strongly considered. Okay, so now there's that by Jovan. Shout out to him for bringing me more content. So now you have to think, are they thinking about starting Dennis? Because it didn't work the first time with starting Dennis. But are they considering starting Dennis Schroder over Russell Westbrook? That's definitely going to be a disaster. We know Russ is not going to want to come off the bench, let alone for somebody like Dennis. And yeah, I just don't want that to happen. If that is what's happening, I really don't want that to happen, man. Again, this is really, oh my God, this is more developments, guys, on the live stream right now. But yeah, it's official. For those of you just tuning in, it is reported that Dennis Schroder is signing a 1-year deal, $2.6 million with the Lakers. Very confusing for me right now. Very hard for me to react because I don't know what the hell the front office is thinking if they want to keep these three players together. It could be, like I said, it could be a circus act that might not land at the end of the day, or it could be something really special. So, and what I mean by that is Russell Westbrook getting traded. I told you, Dan, Jeannie and Rob are clueless. Let's wait and see, man. Let's wait and see before we make these accusations. I still believe in Jeannie. I'm not sure what I think about Rob because he loves guards. All right, the history will tell you that he's been stacking up on guards for his short stint with the Lakers so far. It worked 1 year, but I don't like these combinations for ego purposes. We're gonna be ego tripping heading into the season, but I do like the fact that Russ, if he stays, he would come off the bench. But I prefer to start Patrick Beverly over him, honestly. Honest to God. And now this really doesn't make any sense at all if you're going to have Dennis and Russ off the bench with Kendrick. Again, too many guards, man, too many egos. It's really confusing, man. He said this year is going to age LeBron 10 years. It has that potential for sure. It definitely has that potential. He said, I believe in Jeannie. Me too, bro. It's not over yet. Let's see if there's another move to follow this one up, or if what Jovan is saying that they're really considering bringing Russ off the bench, it's true. But then who starts? That becomes a question. Now we have even more questions than we did before. And so that's the confusing part. He said, oh my God, really, Dennis? I know, bro. I know. He says, start Patrick Beverly and bring Russ off the bench. But then what does that do to the Dennis Schroder signing? Where does he get minutes? At the shooting guard? So we're going to be extremely small off the bench then. Russ is the fourth string. Yeah, I do think, Kevin, I agree with you, bro. Kevin, I agree. This is my conclusion is that Russell Westbrook should be traded now. All right. And I think those talks that have been rumored have maybe reached the next stages. That's why the Lakers went ahead. Because they could have signed. Think about this. We could have signed Dennis Schroder at any point this offseason, but they waited this long. No, there has to be something in the works. I feel it, man. I feel it's gotta be. He said it feels like a time loop. I just hope we don't make the same mistake. That'd be tough. My boy Denver Nuggets baby says, "Sup DTLF, much love and respect, man. Does the Lakers front office love guards? Y'all need some wing players. 3-and-D would be nice, Dan, since y'all got Dennis. The only logical conclusion is Russ is gone." Right? That's how I feel too, bro. That's exactly how I feel. And I'm shocked that the reports coming out now are that Russ is going to get benched. There's no way, man. There's no way that we got Dennis Schroder to be the starting guard, because that would be a little bit confusing. Not because he's not capable, but I don't feel like he's up to the task. I don't think he's going to live up to the pressure as a starting guard. I much prefer him off the bench. That's the only logical decision. And of course, to make that happen, we still need to make a trade, to clear up some room here. But this is all really shocking to me as of right now. Man, a lot of people chime in and he said, "I'm done with this team." my man upset. He said, hold on, let me put it on the board. He said, I'm so done with this team. How did LeBron and AD allow this to happen? We have too many guards. Can't you wait till training camp to see what we got before signing Dennis? You know what it is, man? It could be one of two things. Again, it could be that the Russ trade is on a horizon, or it could be that Dennis has been balling out so good, and I think he just dropped another 30 piece today. He's been killing it so good, right? That they're like, okay, he's hungry. He wants to play for another big contract in the NBA, and we have to take the gamble, even though we have a lot of guards. Hopefully that's not the case, though. Hopefully the Lakers weren't thinking like that, because it could be a huge mistake, like you said. Now you have a bunch of individual players and expiring contracts playing for individual purposes. That could be Russ and Dennis. That could collide. We don't need too many of those. One will do. One will do, Laker Nation. So let's just hope that something else pops off. That's what we need right now. I can feel it, Dan. Another trade is about to go down. You know what, Laker girl? I agree. If we go into the season with this roster, then I can agree with everybody who's been so hard on Rob and say he has no clue what he's doing, because, again, we have too many guards, and that's the issue. That is a huge issue. Believe it or not, it matters, guys. It matters. Arthur, thanks for the cash app. Bro said, is it a bad sign for the Utah Jazz trade? Hashtag pivoting. I think it's a good sign. I think it's a bigger chance of us actually pulling off the Utah Jazz trade now with this happening. Mind you, you got to read the tea leaves always. We started off the week with the rumor about Russ putting his house on the market. Not to mention last week he was over there in some lake in Utah. All right, so that's two things equating to him heading over to the Jazz. This is part number 3 was the fact that now we signed Dennis Schroder. So everything is pointing in the direction of a Russ trade with the Utah Jazz. If that doesn't happen, then I'm really confused, and I wouldn't be shocked that we get off to a poor start due to the fact that we're too stagnant at the guard position and too many damn egos trying to earn contracts next season. This can't happen. All right, this can't happen. He said, looking good so far on paper, just like last year. No, actually, people think because he's really talented, it was a good acquisition. It could be. It has the potential to be that, obviously. But it also has the potential to be a disaster if Russ stays on board. Again, we're talking about 3 guards that are very volatile. Patrick Beverley, even though he has the potential to play defense and all that, his mouth could get him in trouble at times, especially with egos like Russell Westbrook's and Dennis Schroeder's. I could see fights breaking out if this happens, and I have no idea why the Lakers front office would even put us in that position. The fact that we just acquired a brand new head coach, we want to give him a clean slate. This is not good. All right, we're talking about 3 very volatile personalities who can not only fight amongst each other, but rub other teammates the wrong way. Can't have too much of that on the team. And that's the bottom line. At the end of the day, the Lakers have to make more sense, not just on the court skill-wise, but off the court and in the locker room as well. It has to make sense. And this, to me, does not make sense, even though I like him off the bench for the price. All right, I don't love the acquisition because he already had one go-around and he failed. No matter how we chop it up, he failed. He had a couple of good games early in the season last time Dennis was here. But at the end of the day, Dennis Schroder and his acquisition for Danny Green plus a first-round pick was another failed trade that I think we don't talk enough about. That's how I feel. My boy said too many guards. Russ got to go. Absolutely, hands down. For this to make sense, Russ has to go. Now, if Russ gets traded, we get Bojan Bogdanovic. Now I like this acquisition a lot more. Why? Because you got a starting caliber guard, either Patrick Beverley or Kendrick Nunn or Lonnie Walker or God forbid even Dennis Schroder. And that's still a lot of guards, but at least that's a lot of less personality with Russ gone. Okay, at least. And then you're adding a wing like Bojan, right? Now you're talking about some good depth and flexibility there. My starting lineup if Russ gets traded for Bogdanovic is Patrick Beverley at the point guard, Bogdanovic at the shooting guard. Even though he's a power forward / small forward, I'm utilizing the size and his ability to stretch the floor and his defense potential at the 2 guard. LeBron at the 3, at the 4, Anthony Davis and Thomas Bryant at the 5. Off the bench, you'd have Dennis Schroder. Okay, you have Kendrick Nunn, Austin Reeves. Again, you have options now off the bench if that happens. That's what's good. So it'll get interesting if Russ gets traded. That's when I'll get a lot more excited. For now, I'm tempering my expectations because I really don't want to see us head into the season with this team with all these, like I said, volatile personalities. it could just blow up in our face. And that's what I really would like to avoid. My boy, Dontario, thanks for the super chat. He said, you can't break my soul. Man is out of here. I think so too, man. I listen, the writing is on the wall, and it better not be some damn doctor writing that we can't understand and we end up confused by, right? So as long as the writing is on the wall and it spells Russell Westbrook being gone, then that's definitely going to be something to look forward to. Okay. Now, one thing I did notice is that Dennis Schroder, his kids were wearing a Laker jersey during his last game. I saw they were taking pictures with the media and all that. Him playing overseas or whatnot. So I kind of figured, this is why I brought up the question to Trevor Lane that Dennis wanted to be here. And I thought, well, if he's the best free agent guard available, I wouldn't be shocked if the Lakers signed him, but they got to do something about Russell Westbrook. That's the bottom line. I think we can all agree in the chat that this makes absolutely no sense if Russell Westbrook's still here. If he's gone, then it makes a little more sense for sure. He's like, hey, Dan, your channel is awesome, man. By the way, I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a Pacer fan. I like Miles Turner. It's time we move on. Would you be willing to give Russell Westbrook for Miles Turner? In a heartbeat, brother. And we'll even throw in a first-round pick in a couple of seconds. For sure, I would do that in a heartbeat. But rumor has it, and thanks so much, man, for liking the channel. Listen, rumor has it you guys want 2 first-round picks for Miles Turner. I think that's a little too much, especially due to the fact that he was injured last year. So, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with him moving forward. I wish your team the best, bro. Thanks for the class. He said, Dan, you seen Dennis Schroder's IQ? He's going to give it his 100 watch. You know what, man? Dennis is I think he's always meant to be a bench player in this league. I mean, his success with the Atlanta Hawks, with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and even to some extent, he had some early success with the Celtics, including a big game he dropped versus us when they beat us, when they came here to Staples, to Crypto last season. He had some big games, but it doesn't sustain. Right? If he's going to come off the bench and get heavy minutes, he needs to sustain that. But I much prefer him off the bench for sure. He said, Dan, make a prediction. What happens next? Russ trade or Russ off the bench? I'm going to say Russ trade. It's the only way that this makes sense to me. My prediction is Russell Westbrook will be traded before training camp, or at least before the start of the season. Has to be. It's not going to work out. Even if let's just say they roll this out into preseason, I think they're going to find out real early that this is just not going to it's not going to happen. Too many strong personalities. He said, we got the Gremlin. Yes, that is my nickname for him, man. I call him the Gremlin for sure. He said, this means Westbrook is gone. I'm calling it, Dan. I agree, Rally. Let's see if it happens. Hey, Dan, I'm from Oklahoma. I'm a Detroit Piston fan, but I'm a Laker fan second. He said, I love your channel. You the best. Thanks, but hey, man, that means a lot. Listen, this is what it's all about. Whether we root for the same team or not, and we could all just be respectful and talk basketball, that's what it's all about, man. So I do appreciate, and I'm humbled by your guys' kind respect and love, man. And I wish you guys a lot of luck as well, man. Detroit Pistons got some nice young talent over there. I will be checking you guys out on League Pass for sure. But look, this is what I think is really hilarious, right? God didn't like the fact I was talking about these players last season, right? Patrick Beverley, I talk hella shit about Patrick Beverley. I keep it 150 with you guys at all times. I talk hella shit also about Dennis Schroder, and I hated on him because of the way he left the Lakers thinking he could do better. Now I got to eat my words and watch these guys on the roster this year. That's a for sure. So I am rooting for them. Obviously, they're Lakers, and I'm a Laker fan first before anything. So I'm rooting for these guys, and is it going to be awkward? Hell yes. Trust me, rooting for Patrick Beverley is no easy task, especially if you're a diehard Laker fan who knows that his mouth has been flapping a lot, especially when he was a Clipper. Same thing with Dennis. Dennis thought he was better than the franchise. He found out the hard way. Listen, man, you can't get bigger than the Lakers. All right, you turned down $84 million. Here's your chance to redeem yourself right now, this season, right? This season. If we can get into postseason and Dennis Schroder makes some noise, maybe he gets re-signed, or maybe he gets a bigger contract elsewhere. But at the end of the day, man, it's one of those things. He said, Dan, spit a freestyle at 19K subs. Listen, I already said it, and I already made this promise. At 24K, I'm going to drop a sequel to the Lakers anthem track that everybody still loves till this day, but it was low quality. Now I got the good studio equipment and everything, so y'all going to get a real banger, man. Not just a freestyle, but a real banger that y'all could bump on iTunes or whatever streaming service you guys use. So it's coming. I got hella beats. Now I need the motivation. Give me the 24K subs, and we're going to drop a banger. Hopefully every Laker fan will be proud of, and my dream is that it'll eventually be played at crypto.com, aka Staples. Marty, what's up, my brother? He said, Trade or no trade, they don't want to start Russ or give them major minutes. That is a good point. Now, it spells the writing in the wall for me that he's about to get traded. However, if I'm wrong, and in this scenario that Marty is bringing up, then most likely he will come off the bench, which I've always said. If you want to unlock Russell Westbrook, bring him off the bench. Let him play that Lamar Odom style, right? That Lamar Odom role. Coming off the bench, let him do his thing, get out of transition, whatever. But now, see, here's the problem with this, Marty. Now I don't even want him off the bench. Now I want him off the team after this acquisition because, like I said, the personalities are too much for me. You got Patrick Beverley. He's going to be barking at everybody, including his own teammates. Okay? You got Russell Westbrook, Mr. Selfish himself, right? Mr. Only Russ knows Russ, right? We got him. Now you got Dennis, Mr. I turned down the Lakers because I thought I was better, but I found out the hard way. Now I got to come back and humble myself. I'm not sure I want all three of those guys, right? 2 is more than enough. 1, I had enough with 1, but 2, you're pushing it. You are pushing it, right? So I will say, and thanks so much for a super chat, Marty. I will say that I do not want this to happen. I really pray, and I'm going to pray every single day, guys. This is how much I love my Lakers, man. I'm bringing God into this, right? I'm going to pray that Russell Westbrook, and I wish him the best. I'm not hating on him, finds a new home. And the Lakers find a new home for him where he gets the opportunity to triple doubles, whatever. It's not here. We don't want to see triple doubles here. We want to see wins. And that's the bottom line. Facts over feelings, just like Darvin says. I can't stand Beverly, but I'll have to root for him now. I'm getting nauseous just thinking about it. I feel you, Keith. Trust me, bro. Listen, for those of us that have been here for years, you know exactly what my boy Keith is talking about. It's been hard. This offseason has not gone the way we thought it would be. But, it's one of those things that we're just going to have to adapt. That's what Laker fans do best, man. We're like chameleons. We adapt to the situation. That's why people hate on us. They expected us to keep hating on Patrick Beverley. That's not what real fans do, right? They probably thought they were going to come on this here channel and hear me talk shit about Dennis Schroder like I did last season, even though he's now on the roster. No. You know my rule. All that gets left at the door. We had some fun with it last year, but now he's a Laker. Now I got to root for him. Got no other choice. I bleed purple and gold, baby. So that's the way it goes. My boy said, yo, what's good, Dan? He said, I just subbed to your content. It's fire. Thanks for the updates. I got you, Bryce. Thanks for the subscription, man. And everybody who hasn't subscribed, make sure you guys do because I'm always, this is my full-time job. This is what I do for a living. So as soon as something breaks and I get confirmation, I'm firing it up. And you guys are getting it here first before ESPN, before major mainstream outlets, man. I'm like the Woj of YouTube. So holler at your boy, smack the like button. It helps us grow. And I got you year round. 365 days a year, including summer time. So this is the channel for you if you are a diehard Lakers fan or just an NBA fan. You can also subscribe to my second channel. Matter of fact, guys, I was not prepared for this live stream today. I was about to stream some 2K on my second channel, Primetime TV. And I just had to drop everything. I had to, unplug the capture card and set up the computer because what's most important is the Lakers right now. But yeah, how you guys feeling about Dennis, though? You guys like it, love it, hate it? I want to know in the chat. This is the people's channel, so I want to give you guys a voice. Marty says, I'm a John Morant. Wait. I missed that one. He said, I'm a John Morant world. You kind of need Schroder and Beverly. Well, I mean, here's their chance to prove themselves. Again, playing for the biggest spotlight. Dennis, if there was a test, he would have flunked last time around. But he gets the rare second opportunity, and this is the land of second opportunities. We gave it to Dwight, and we've done it with other players as well. So I'm not surprised. Driving home from work, shout out to Dan for doing these shows. Thanks, Darth. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for listening to us. Drive safely, my brother. I'm glad that you're tapping in. Camille says, I'm praying with you as well. I need Westbrook traded simply for a fresh new start for the team. If not, it will be a major distraction. No personal hate, but Russ just isn't a good fit. Thank you, Camille. Yes, I couldn't have said it better myself. Listen, at the end of the day, let's not confuse hatred with, fandom. We are fans of our team. We want what's best for it, whether that includes your favorite player or not. That's just the bottom line. So I echo those sentiments. Absolutely. I agree. My boy Bad Dog Sports says, hey, DTLF, congrats on 18K subs. You're awesome, man. Shout out to Trevor for having you on his channel. Dan, Russ got to go. We don't need drama. Oh, and I hate Dennis edition unless Russ is gone. Man, thank you so much, bro. And listen, yeah, shout out to Trevor, the great Trevor Lane, for having me on the show twice. Major accomplishment, and that was life changing for me for sure. So I'm very thankful. And I'm sure he's doing a live stream right now as we speak, because great minds think alike, and you got to be live when this stuff happens. But as far as your take, I echo the same thing, bro. There's no way Russ and Dennis, you can't convince. Listen, the world would have to end before you can convince me that Russ, Dennis, and and Patrick Beverly can all coexist. I think that is a Lakers hater's dream come true. Right? The people are out. I know Skip Bayless probably tweeted something out already. I just know it. He said, "Let's go." Calling it right now. Healed and Turner on the way. Okay, I like that with Marcos. And thanks for the super chat, my boy. He said Healed and Turner on the way. Now that's a rumor we have not heard in quite some time, man. In quite some time. So, that's interesting that you say that. And here I am updating my timeline. So, by the way, shout out to Justin for tweeting this out. He said, just so y'all know, Schroder just came off of a 30-point and 8 assist performance for Germany, who recently in the loss, he was cooking at Eurobasket 22. So, yeah, like I told you guys, this guy has been balling. And this is why I asked Trevor Lane the other day when he was on this live stream about this. I kind of felt like it could happen. It was something that could happen. My boy, he said, hey, Dan, the good thing about Patrick Beverly is that he wants to be a Laker. That's what being a Laker is all about. We should not beg players to be here. Absolutely. And like I said, he has a great chance of winning the fans over. We hated him for years, but Magic Johnson said it best. Even though I hated you for years, now you're a part of the family. So welcome. That's all we can do, man. That's what real fans do, whether we're hated for it or not. It's called loyalty. He said, hey, Dan, you're right. He said, Trevor Lane is doing a live stream. I was watching that before I heard Dennis got signed, and then I jumped into your stream. Thanks, man. Yeah, I know it. He's great. That's why he is who he is. Trevor Lane is always on it, for sure, man. He said, Dan, real fans call out incompetent leadership. Give me more context, man. Who are we talking about here? I'm sure you're throwing a jab somewhere, but I don't know who. Are we talking about Jeannie? Are we talking about Rob? Are we talking about LeBron? Because listen, last season, you can slice up that pie however you want it. But one of the incompetent leaders that I called out, aka a real fan, was Frank Vogel. Now he's gone. Now hopefully we brought a real competent one, because we're gonna need it. We're gonna need everything this season. He said, Dan, I don't like too many guards, and I'm not a Dennis or Pat Bev. I'm not a fan of Dennis or Pat Bev. He said, I'm hard time liking Pat Bev as it is. I feel you, Victor. Hey, listen, we're all right there with you, man. Nothing has changed as far as that goes. But he's going to have to win the fan base over by playing hard. And especially if he helps whoop the Clippers' ass and clamp up, then I think we're going to like him early on in the year. I'm circling that game. Game number 2 of the season for us, I think is, don't quote me on this, but I think it's October 20 or 21st that they play versus the Flippers. And so that's going to be one to watch, because we need that toxic Patrick Beverly to show up against his former team for sure. And then that could go a long way to making us really like him. Damien, appreciate the super chat, bro. Said Schroder is humble now. He will play his role, and he is a slasher and can get buckets. There's a trade coming. Westbrook would not sail home. I agree, brother. Everything is pointing in that direction. And let's hope that you're right. Let's hope that Dennis Schroder is humbled and he comes in here with the right mentality. His mindset should be to help the team win games at any cost, not worried about his next contract or, the new Call of Duty that just dropped. And no offense, I play video games on my spare time as well, but when you're a professional, you got to focus on your craft and put that before anything, no matter what. I don't care what you do on your free time, but the last thing I wanted to see was Dennis playing Call of Duty when his team is currently playing, right? I don't want to see him streaming or none of that, because it shows me that you don't care. You should be watching. Even if you're hurt, you should be watching. You should be right there on the sidelines. And if you can't, you should be watching from home. Lenny, thanks so much for super chat, bro. Said, my guy Dan, he said, calm troll from day one, Laker fan. He said, Brooklyn Nets fan since 2010. He said, you asked for Kyrie and got Bev and Schroeder. Leave Kai and KD in New York. All love. I love it. He's talking his smack. That's fair enough. I mean, we got to take the jabs here and there. But listen, I'm still asking for Kyrie, man. So I ain't leaving him in New York. I'm hoping he joins us next season. These are all one-year deals. And so there's going to be room for your guy, Kyrie Irving, who I think deep down wants to be a Laker. But we'll see. To be determined. Jonah says, I'm calling out Genie, Ramby, Rob, and a whole lot. He said, LeBron included too. We Laker fans deserve better than Russ and Dennis. Is it too much to ask? Absolutely not. However, if you're going to call them out, make sure you give them credit as well. We are 2 years removed from a championship, my guy. And so you got to keep that same energy both ways. I'd rather be patient. I've been calling out Rob Pelinka. I told you he's on strike two for me. This is his year to get it right. Genie Bus cares about the Lakers, man. I don't think you can ask for a better owner if we're being honest. I mean, anybody who's willing to, to remove their brother, from his job in order to bring a championship here and shortly after deliver a title is worthy of my love and my loyalty. Plus, I already love Jeannie. If you haven't watched all the documentaries, you will find out why you should love Jeannie Buss as well. She's always been a hard worker. She's always loved the city, and she'll continue her father's legacy, hopefully for a very long time. But for those reasons, I don't put, her name in my mouth because she wants the Lakers to win. I mean, everything she's done. I wanted Frank Vogel gone. I wanted the championships that year that was a very hard year for everybody. The COVID year, 2020, we got the championship. So Jeannie, I wanted star power. We got that. We got both AD and LeBron. So we cannot be too spoiled to the fact that we're calling for Jeannie's head 2 years removed from a championship. You know how spoiled that makes us sound? However, everybody else, coaching staff, general manager, everybody else, you're right. We are critical, and I have been critical on this channel about it. But you also have to always stay objective. And if you're going to be critical on Jeannie, give her credit, man. There's a lot of owners that never even win championships. They just sell tickets. Jeannie wants it all. She wants the glory. She wants the respect. And she's out here making history. So you got to love it. I don't see where the hate stems from Jeannie. But, hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel, right? My boy said Dennis Schroder is a Laker. My boy's excited. Oh. He said, Dan, I know Jeannie cares, but is she knowledgeable enough basketball-wise to hire good basketball people? Well, she did hire Magic Johnson, who helped land LeBron James. Then she hired Rob Pelinka, who had a tremendous job to start, his career by acquiring a championship contending team at the 12th hour when Kawhi Leonard, he took up most of free agency and just waited for free agencies to scurry before choosing the Clippers. So again, call her out, but give her credit as well. We got to be objective about all this stuff. He said, Dan, we have 9 guards, not enough wings. You know what? I really hope that we address that because I agree. Way too many guards, not enough wings, not enough size. Now, size in the paint, we look a little bit better. But the wing depth, and we know this league is run by wings. LeBron needs some help there. He needs some backups. Juan Toscano, solid. Austin Reeves could play some wing here and there, but I see him more as a shooting guard, but still solid. Now, again, we get Bojan Bogdanovic. Ain't nobody going to be crying about wings at that point, right? So they're really one trade away from really giving us a legit roster that we can be proud of to roll out there on opening night. It could happen, guys. Let's not lose patience here. Let's just be hopeful. And again, I'm praying every day up until training camp, up until the season starts, that Russ is off this team because I think that's in everybody's best interest, including Westbrook's. Bryce says, look, trade AD to the Celtics for Brown and Smart, and we good. That's tough, man. I'm going to let this season speak for itself. I think AD is about to bounce back. I think a lot of people forgot about Dre, man. They forgot that Anthony Davis is that guy, and I hope he reminds a lot of people. I have not forgotten. There's no way we have that 2020 chip without Anthony Davis. So I really look forward to this season with him, and then we can have this conversation maybe next season if it doesn't pan out, if it does not pan out. Max says, Dan, the Jazz have 19 players on their roster. They have to make a trade with the Lakers to cut down their roster. I feel you, Max, but it doesn't necessarily have to be with the Lakers. It could be multiple trades with different teams as well, but it could be the Lakers. Listen, tea leaves adding up again, just to repeat. Russ putting his house on the market. Now the acquisition of Dennis Schroder, plus the rumors of Bojan Bogdanovic and the Lakers in talks for him, just lets me know that we're this much closer, right? This much closer. So he said, Dan, we're the Lakers. We should be hiring the best of the best, like Masai Ujiri. I like him, by the way. He's great. Why settle for mediocrity like Magic and GM Rob? Well, can you call Rob mediocre after he delivered a title? I don't know about that. We're praising Messiah because he also helped deliver a title and also helped to rebuild a couple of teams, right? But listen, man, let's not have short-term memory loss here. You know, let's give credit where credit is due. He does have 2 strikes. He make a lot of mistakes since then, but he still has a chance here. I'm gonna give him one more opportunity personally before I really start going in hard on him. You know, I always keep it 100, man. I'm never sugarcoating nothing on this channel. If I have a problem with somebody, I will bring it up. But I'm also very objective, and I like to take in everything as far as the good with the bad, and the good has still outweighed the bad. Magic Johnson, without him, who knows if we land LeBron James, and without Rob Pelinka, completing the trade for Anthony Davis, and without LeBron recruiting him here and all of that. So everybody takes a slice of the blame, but also, they also take a slice of the, the compliments and some of the credit for winning that chip. That chip is not easy. Don't let ESPN and Fox Sports fool you and tell you that championship was a bubble championship. Listen, that was one of the hardest championships we've ever witnessed to acquire. The country was in disarray. The fans really relied on that entertainment. Let's not sit here and act like we weren't begging for the NBA to come back, right? So we got to be smart, man. And again, just always try to stay objective. It's not good to always, and sometimes I fall victim of this as well. Being a fan, sometimes I can be too negative and sometimes I can be too positive. But for the most part, I try to stay grounded and level-headed, never too high, never too low about certain things. In the past, I would have been irate about this acquisition, but I hope that there's something that leads up to a Russell Westbrook trade. And so I'll go after that, but if we go into training camp and preseason with this roster, then I'm a lot more confused, and I will be probably upset if we start having troubles early in the season, because like you said, we do deserve better. That's for sure. We don't pay we don't pay top dollar to go watch our Lakers just to, roll out a mediocre team onto the floor. So, but again, the blame would be sliced equally because LeBron has a lot to do with this roster construction. And so does Rob, and Jeannie has to greenlight it. So it has to be distributed equally. He said, the 3 beaded snake, Gunna. I like that, Angel. Hey, listen, bro. I just don't see that working out. Thanks so much for the super chat. I cannot. Does anybody in the chat believe? I want to know this wholeheartedly. All right. Just give me your yeses or your nos. I want to know. Does anybody here in the chat believe, or the majority of the chat, do you guys believe these 3 guards could coexist? Dennis, Patrick Beverly, and Russell Westbrook? Or do you think like me and think it has the potential to blow up in our face if we keep it together? It just doesn't make sense, right? To me. So, I see Space Entertainment Network says not a good move here. Agreed. Unless there's a subsequent move. And we said this after Patrick Beverly already. Adding another guard just adds to the confusion even more. See? No, hell no. There's one guy that said yes. So credit to you for being different. But, yeah, I have to disagree. He said the bubble championship was harder to win than any normal championship. Whoever is saying it doesn't count is just jealous of the major success the Lakers have. Exactly. If it was so easy to win, how come everybody else's favorite team didn't get it? That's, at the end of the day, it's all about winning. And, women lie, men lie, numbers do not. Was it going to happen with none? So many question marks. Like I said, man, this acquisition, listen, just to recap. This is what our roster looks like. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis, Patrick Beverly, Max Christie, Thomas Bryant, Lonnie Walker, Damian Jones, Kendrick Nunn, Troy Brown Jr., Juan Toscano, Austin Reeves, Wenyen Gabriel, and the new acquired Dennis Schroder now. So that's your 14. And that roster screams, we need a wing. We need a wing. So he said, nope, Dan, Westbrook's got to go. Absolutely. No way. No way that this works with Russ on it. I do feel that there is a trade that is about to happen. And I will be ready, guys. I will be ready if it does happen. And I'm going to get any final questions you guys have, because I'm going to get off here in a little bit. I do have to stream on my second channel like I promised. So make sure you guys tune in there. If you guys have more questions, I'll be happy to, there's no cam over there. It's all game and voice. But I'll be happy to answer them there. But just in case something does happen, I will be right back, man. Like that Simpsons gif where the old man walks in and walks out and walks in again. I will be right back after these messages if something does go down. But I feel it over the next couple of days. Everybody, set your notifications on. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And again, before I get off, major shout out to my sponsor, Prize Picks. It's all possible because of your guys' support and Prize Picks, my sponsor. So shout out to them as well. My boy said, I'm really keeping an eye on the Sun situation. Listen, the NBA is the best sport because we're a year-round sport. All right, the NBA is always stuff to talk about, even in the offseason, even if it's controversies and stuff like that. I just dropped a video yesterday about the whole, about the whole Robert Sarver situation and Chris Paul hopefully requesting a trade and all this and that. So, and now today we get this news. Oh, man. Jovan Bua is reporting there could be a 4-team trade. So again, it's going to get juicier and juicier and juicier, man. I'm loving what I'm hearing. It's going to be one of those things that I'm just like, when it happens, I'm going to be so excited. I'm going to be so excited. But if it does not happen, and here's the latest report, all right? Before Donovan Mitchell was dealt to the Cavs, the Lakers discussed a 4-team trade with the Jazz, Knicks, and the Hornets. So that's interesting. How would the Hornets get involved here? And all this is coming to the light now after the Dennis Schroder situation. So how does that, I would have to read a little bit more into that before I give you guys an opinion on that. But how does that come into effect here with everything, right? Like all of a sudden we're hearing about rumors we never heard before. That's what I'm saying. A lot of stuff that's never reported is what actually happens, man. It's one of those things. And let me see if I get any updates before I hop off the stream right quick. So yeah, we did get that one about that discussion that happened, a 3-way deal. There's got to be another move in the works. I like the Schroder pickup. All right, Alex, I like the positivity. One of those things that I'm just like, yes, absolutely has to be. Because this did catch me by surprise. I'm not going to lie. I didn't expect this to happen today. Shout out to Tara. She always says that when Lakers make moves is on Fridays. She's been right all summer long. So shout out to her for that. But yeah, I did not anticipate this move. I kind of figured he would get picked up. He was balling. So I did ask Trevor the other day about it. But yeah, this one really shocked me because we still have Russell Westbrook. But, there could be some, they're already dropping articles about other moves that could potentially happen. NBA Central just dropped one called 3 realistic Russell Westbrook trades that would move the needle for the Lakers. So again, now the rumors are about to, just when you thought everything was dying and quieting down, now these rumors are starting to surface. And I find that extremely interesting, man. Oh my goodness. I like that shirt. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, man. I'm Team Nike, everything. So if they ever want to sponsor me, holler at your boy. He said the Schroder pickup was the best for us this offseason. You think so? Wow, that's interesting. I'm still sticking with Coach Darvin Ham. I think he's going to make the biggest impact. I think he can change the culture, turn this into a winning team again, and get us disciplined and heading into the right direction. It's one of those things, man. One of those things. But all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys have any more questions I didn't answer here, make sure to subscribe to my second channel, Primetime TV. It's hard to find it on YouTube because it's new, but type in Primetime TV and then space DTLF, and you should find it. I will be streaming some live my team later on, man. So definitely check that out. NBA 2K has been fun. Haven't had a lot of chance to play it, so I do want to keep my promise that I will be streaming this year. One more. He said, which guards can be even acquired with Bojan? He said, Vanderbilt, heard the Jazz don't want to trade him. Well, from what I'm hearing is that the Jazz want 1 first-round pick per player. They want one from Bogdanovic. They want one for Vanderbilt. They want one for Malik Beasley. And they want one for Clarkson. So I think that is why there hasn't been a move up until he softens his stance. The general manager for the Jazz, up until he softens his stance, it's probably not going to be a deal. I don't think a lot of teams are willing to give up first-round picks for role players. Good ones. The best one is Bojan, who averaged 18 points per game, shooting the high clip from the field from all over the floor. So he's the best asset that they have left. But even then, I think Bojan is a protected first, maybe a couple of seconds. I still don't think you give up an unprotected first unless you're desperate like the Lakers, right? And then that could happen. But all right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. You know where to find me if anything else breaks. Oh, look, they don't want to let me go. Another super chat. He says, sorry, meant wing, not guard. Yeah. Vanderbilt is definitely a wing. I like him. He's a 3-and-D potential type of guy. So he would be a pretty great acquisition as well. We want some more size and versatility. He reminds me of a extremely poor man's version of what's that player? Siakam, Pascal Siakam, like an extremely poor version. I'm talking the Dollar General version of Pascal Siakam. All right, I don't want to get destroyed in the chat because obviously that is high praise. But yeah, he can bring some of those things. You know, he's versatile, physical. You know, he can score a little bit, but defensively he can get up and down the court. So yeah, I like that for sure. All right, guys, that wraps it up for me. I'll see you guys if anything else breaks. You know where to find me. Peace out.